Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bowling University studio from the International Bowling Campus here in Arlington, Texas. This is the Profit Break. Now, if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. We're glad you're here. Give us 15 minutes, and you're going to be well on your way to improving yourself and your business's profitability. Now, if you're like most small businesses in America today, staffing has surpassed supply chain issues and even inflation as the #1 thing that keeps you up at night. Simply put, there are just too many jobs and too few people to fill them. But there's good news. In fact, I think it's great news. And the great news is that BPAA is here to help. Now, you have the opportunity to earn rebates that you can invest back into your team, which will improve your retention and lower your turnover. Now, today, we're going to visit with Scott Logan, who's the general manager, and Tabitha Hernandez, the director of HR for Grand Station Entertainment in College Station, Texas. Scott, Tabitha, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Awesome. Well, hey, before we jump in, Scott, tell us a little bit about your location, Grand Station Entertainment, about, the building, what you have, and what the facility is all about.
All right, yeah, so we're located directly in Aggie Land, which is also known as College Station, Texas. We have 40 lanes of bowling, 80-game arcade, laser tag, mini golf that was just revamped from Creative Works. We have a sports bar, axe throwing. We also have food and beverage, just a bunch of different options here under one roof.
Awesome. So, Scott, how long have you had the center? I know it's a family business, so just how long have you and the family had the location there?
Since 2007. So we're coming up on our 16th year anniversary. Since then, we've remodeled, and every year we've done something to kind of revamp it and retool, put money back into the facility, and just giving. Not taking the profits and running, but we're reinvesting back into the business and just understanding and adapting to the times and what our customers want. So.
Yeah, good. So it's a beautiful location. Love the place. Great family business run there. Now, for a single unit, you have a very unique situation that you actually have brought on a young lady to be your director of HR, Miss Tabitha. Great to meet you. Welcome.
Thank you. It's great to meet y'all too.
Yeah, so kind of unique for a single unit to put the kind of resources that you've put in that. So Tabitha, tell us a little bit about yourself and how did your center start to get exposed to the Bowling University On Demand program?
Sure. So I've been with Grand Station Entertainment now for about 3 years. I have a hospitality background in management, and so coming into here, it was a very unique industry, making the change to family entertainment. But the one thing that didn't change was customer service and hospitality. So thankfully, Mike and Scott, they saw the need to continue growing in that aspect, and so I moved from sales. I started here in sales, booking birthday parties and events, and then slowly worked my way into the HR realm by helping onboard new employees, just helping with different employee relation issues. And so now we're here, and we're really excited about what the new on-demand program is offering.
Awesome. Well, they are lucky to have you. So let's jump into the on-demand program. If I was fortunate enough to be a new team member at Grand Station, what does the onboarding program look like for me? And how do you use the on-demand courses for that?
Sure. So for our onboarding process, we have a new hire orientation that we require all of our new employees to attend. And at that orientation, we have some icebreakers just so that everyone gets comfortable. We make it fun. We set up the environment to where they're going to enjoy it and be engaged. And so we're very strategic in who we pick to run our orientation. He's a person that is very excited and very personable, fun. And so he gets all the employees involved. We created a presentation for our handbook. And so we go through everything over the handbook, but in a way that, most of our employees are teenagers. So we need to make sure that they stay with us, that they're not bored, and that they understand and comprehend what we're going over, because it is important. So it's a lot of fun. And then we do a trivia game at the end to make sure that they're comprehending the information, that they understand. We go over who we are, Grand Station, our mission, our vision, our values, and we stress the importance of that because, that's who we are, and everything that we do, any renovations that we make, any policies that we change is always going to stem back to that. And then our first shift, so after the onboarding process, we have everyone scheduled their very first shift at Grand Station. They're scheduled to do online training. So they come here and they complete their online courses. We designated specific courses to food and beverage, specific courses to bowling. So each department has their courses that they take, and after they complete those courses, they can't start training on the floor until those courses are completed.
Yeah, I love that, Tevin. You said something that I want to get back to just for a second, because I love the fact that Scott, you and your father have spent some, as a single unit, have invested in time about, understanding the mission and the vision and the culture of your organization, which often as small business owners, it's easy to overlook that because you're just busy running in the business, right? So I love the fact, Scott, that you guys have done that. And this question is really for either of you. After my onboarding, if I am an ongoing employee and continue with you, do you incorporate any of the continuation online courses for further development?
Yes. So right now, since I would say in December, we started requiring all of our employees, whether they're new or not, to complete certain courses that are relevant to their departments. So right now we're actually backtracking and going through making sure that all of our employees, we just finished with our arcade and bowling departments. So that's about 60 employees there. So now all of them have completed their required courses. Right now we're starting with our mechanics, and then we'll just continue going until the whole facility has gone through these courses.
And one thing that we're finding is that once they go through these courses, then when they start with an actual trainer, they're more equipped than they were before. Right. Their baseline knowledge is already where it should be, and they're more confident in their job. They're understanding the lingo a little bit more, and we've also seen that our turnover rate, when compared to the first quarter of 2022, has dropped 10%. We attribute that largely to the courses, because that's when we started back in December of last year, and we really started to see, okay, is it paying off? Is it worth investing time? Because they clock in for this. They're getting paid. And it's roughly between 4 to 5 hours to complete all the courses online. But we're seeing that once they finally meet with an actual trainer, they are more confident and more open to what they're going to be exposed to. And so it's actually transferred into a really good thing.
Yeah, and thank you for adding that, Scott. I love that because you said a lot of great stuff in that short amount of time. That they're better equipped to do the hands-on tasks because they went through the courses. Right. And the fact in this environment, and I just want to make sure all our viewers today heard this, in this environment, your turnover rate is dropping, which, just so you guys understand, that's not normal. You guys are abnormal, right? Your turnover rate is dropping in this environment. That is phenomenal, and you're doing a lot of things right. And look, Scott, I want to direct this question to you because you folks have been great advocates and had a great onboarding and training program before we launched this specific opportunity to incentivize folks. But now that you and your business have an opportunity to earn some rebate dollars, and your location has done a phenomenal job and earned a substantial amount of funds just so far, what are you using that money for, and how are you reinvesting it back into people?
So that was one of the things that we were talking about before we got on the call, is that if we weren't already doing this would help us pay for the things that we bought in advance. So we bought laptops, we bought headphones. And so we were already kind of gearing up, planning for this. And then we found out about the rebate program. And there was already questions like, how successful is this? Is it really paying off? And then what added, like, the timing was perfect. It couldn't be any better. That, we were contacted to say, hey, we're going to give you the rebates for $10 per class. And we were just ecstatic because it paid for everything that we already were trying to implement and roll out to begin with. And so I think for a new center that's wanting to try this, that's the path that you could probably take, and it'll help cover your HR costs and your implementation costs. And so what we're doing now is we're going to be looking at how do we put this back into our staff with employment appreciation parties, team building activities within departments and across the entire center. Our approach has had to shift from COVID. When I think most people started experiencing high turnover rates, people just not caring about the job, showing up for 2 shifts and then never hearing from them again. It became clear to us that we had to meet them where they were, and so we had to invest in what they were actually needing. And so we've turned our focus not neglecting our guests, but more focusing on our staff and their development as professionals, as basically being functional members of society, just getting them prepared and understanding that we want to be a springboard for our employees. If they leave, they come in for 2 years, they're going to be better off because they worked at Grant Station than if they didn't work for us. And so we realize we're not going to be able to keep everybody on staff forever for a career, but that time that they are with us, they're going to be better for it. And that's kind of been our shift of focus.
Yeah, and that says a lot about your family, your culture that you have there at the business to invest in those people, because if you invest in your team, they're going to take care of the guest, right? If you do that upfront investment in the team, they're going to take great care of your guests there at that location. So, Tabitha, have you heard any response? I mean, you work directly with a lot of the frontline folks as they're taking the classes. Have you had any feedback about the courses or classes and how maybe it's helped or not helped, or what's been kind of the reaction from the frontline team?
Yes, so because a lot of our employees are first time, entering the workforce, this is their first job, so they are just completely new to customer service overall in general. So they're learning our industry, but they're also just learning how to be good employees and what it looks like to join the workforce. So they're giving really good feedback, and we're also getting good feedback from our trainers who are training these new employees. We're getting good feedback from them because they're like, oh wow, these new hires, they're not as shy, or they're not as timid, they're not as blinded coming in. They know a little bit about lane pause, or they know how to approach a guest first and not be afraid to talk to them. So we've been getting really good feedback.
Yeah, and Tabitha, you like you said, you're teaching them so much more than just job skills. I mean, for many, they're learning life skills, and unfortunately, it's things, unfortunately, that aren't often taught at school, and sometimes not even at home. Right. So you're providing that. So awesome job there. So Scott, got time for one final question before we let you folks get back to work there and taking care of all those great guests you got today. If you were going to give some words of encouragement to a center that's either thinking about using the program, or we're busy, we're heads down, maybe just hasn't gotten around to it, any encouragement or words of wisdom, for folks that are on the fence?
I would definitely say that you're going to have turnover. It's going to be inevitable. But I would identify your core group of people that really have been there for a little while and that that you can trust and count on to do things. Really identify them and just really invest your time and energy into allowing them to be able to do their job. Explaining what their job is at first, and then just helping them do what you set them there for, or you put them there for. And a lot of the great things that Tabitha's doing is that we kind of laid the groundwork, and we said, hey, Tabitha, what do you think? What direction should we go? And it really allowed her to just be creative and help provide more resources for her to be able to do what she needs to do. And I kind of see my role as removing roadblocks from her. And so whatever she needs to do to get her job done, it's a collaborative effort. We have a really good team, and we have a really good core. And so I would say focusing on that, and with the classes, that it's worth the investment into doing that, because how good your staff is really going to reflect how good your guest experience is. And we're in a community we have a lot of repeat customers. So it's very important that we're not being very procedural, but we're being more service oriented into where we're very hospitable, and we're thanking them, having a clean environment, a welcoming environment. And so those are the things that are so important. So it's the job skills that you mentioned, Bart, about they're not coming equipped with those things. And so we're having to go back to the foundations of what the staff needs to know. And I think the courses really help us lay the groundwork for that. It really is a good decision to make. It may be a little bit uneasy to make that leap to do it, but I encourage you. You can find some laptops for $300 each. Get a headphones with it, and then just kind of set aside, pay them for that time. Most big box stores, they're doing that already. So most people that are going to the workforce, they understand it. Students in school, they're already exposed to it. So it may be unfamiliar for us in this industry, but it's very vital. That's how they learn. They understand these things. And it may be different from the way we learn. That's how they know. a lot of things. So.
Well, Scott, Tabitha, thank you so much for joining us. You guys are doing a lot of great things, and you shared some great tips for our fellow centers to use throughout the country. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, hey, everyone, if you're ready to improve your retention, lower your turnover, and get your time back, all you have to do is schedule your center's activation call by scanning the QR code on the screen or visit bowlinuniversity.net/bonus. So as we wrap up another edition of the Profit Break, remember that when your focus is on growing people, people will grow your business. This episode, as well as all our previous episodes, are available 24/7 for you and your team at bowlinuniversity.net. Now, new episodes are available every month. Mark your calendar, watch your email, join us on Facebook to hear about the latest episodes. Until then, I'm Bart Berger, and remember, do for one what you wish you could do for everyone. We'll see you next time.